Orcas are some of the most fearsome animals in the world ocean. They're also called killer whales. Is it because they're cetacean killers or because they hunt whales? Both. And today you'll see it. In this episode, I'll tell you why orcas are 100 times more dangerous than whales and share interesting facts about their hunting and more. Let's go. Orcas are some of the largest predators in the ocean and on the planet in general. An adult killer whale can weigh 3 to 4 tons, although there are individuals weighing up to 8 tons. These giants grow up to 33 feet in length. Of course, such a body needs a lot of food, and sometimes orcas hunt the main guests of the ocean, whales, just to feed themselves. In fact, almost all whales are harmless creatures because they're not predators, eat plankton and crustaceans, and just calmly swim through the ocean, not bothering anyone. In this respect, one can say that literally any marine predator is 100 times more dangerous than them. But orcas are more dangerous than not only peaceful whales but also evil giants, for example sperm whales, predatory and voracious whales. The sperm whale is in fact the only whale that can stand against orcas. First, it's bigger than them, and secondly, it can not only fight off killer whales but also attack them itself. But this doesn't happen very often. Orcas themselves attack sperm whales much more often. They can't deal with huge individuals, but sperm whale calves are a suitable treat. A sperm whale calf weighs about a ton and is 10 to 13 feet long. That's just enough for dinner for the whole orca family. These killers are brutal, not allowing the adult whales to protect their calves. But still, sometimes they succeed, and orcas have to find other prey, like other whales. In this case, they can hunt big adult whales. One of their favorite delicacies is the gray whale. Scientists have repeatedly recorded and filmed how a pod of hungry orcas attacked a gray whale. They exhaust the prey, and when the prey gets tired of being chased and defending, orcas begin to bite, and in a few hours there's little left of the giant's carcass. Orcas attack humpback whales in the same way. And this is not the limit. It's not a problem for them to fight even the blue whale, the main big creature of the planet. Orcas are very smart animals, so they realize that it's not easy to defeat such a huge whale. To do this, they use tactics. For example, they can distract the whale, make it open its mouth, and bite off its tongue. This will weaken the giant. Afterward, the orcas can simply pummel and ram the whale, damaging it and exhausting it to death. After that, whether the whale goes down or stays on the surface, the orcas will call their friends and have a feast. Okay, whales are big creatures, but they can hardly fight back killer whales because they're good-natured giants, and that's all. But what about vicious and dangerous marine predators, like the notorious sharks? Can they defeat orcas? I doubt it. Orcas are the very creatures which always need a challenge in life to make it at least a little bit interesting, because it's boring to defeat everyone all the time. Then they can test themselves in a fight with a shark. This fight is quite difficult, but orcas still win it in the absolute majority of cases. Even one orca can win a fight against a shiver of sharks. That's the truth. Orcas are one of the few animals that hunt sharks for food. A pod of orcas will easily kill a toothy fish. It's much dumber, it does not have the skills that orcas have, and the killers themselves act very coherently and cleverly. For example, they hit sharks' weak points, including gills, can hit the liver, and even eat it out right during the fight. Thus, killer whales kill 2 birds with 1 stone. They neutralize the enemy and instantly get to its internal organs, which are rich in nutrients. And yet, battles with sharks and whales are the exception rather than the rule. Yes, killer whales are capable of defeating them, and they know it perfectly well, but it takes a lot of effort. They can entertain themselves like that, but not often. It's much more practical to eat someone less dangerous, strong, and large. Unfortunately for seals, nature has chosen them as the main target of killer whales. This is the main dish on the orca menu. Seals are also predatory creatures, but they're completely powerless against killer whales. In a direct confrontation, they have 0 chance of winning or surviving. That's why, if a seal is in the water, it will not be able to escape. The black and white monster will devour it in no time. But killer whales need a challenge. Do you remember it? This kind of hunting is easy peasy. It's much more interesting to do a joint hunt with congeners, work up an appetite and mess with the prey a little, and not just eat it in a minute. Killer whales do this in cold waters where there are ice flows. Orcas have echolocation, so they always know the location of each of their team of killers, as if they were looking at a mini map in a video game displaying teammates. It helps them to feel the space and not stand in the way of each other. This is important because tactics and coherence come into play here. The seal is lying on an ice floe, which means that it must first be thrown into the water. There are two ways to do this, either by splitting the thick ice from below or by creating a mini tsunami and washing away the pinniped with waves. Killer whales most often use the second option. They move forward in a group to the prey, accelerate at the right moment, create a wave to get into position, waiting for the seal to fall into the water. The poor creature has only one chance to escape, to jump over broken ice floes, stay on the ice to the last, and get out to the shore as soon as possible. It's not easy to do this because before hunting, smart killer whales conduct reconnaissance of the area and look where the seal can retreat, what ice floes are in the vicinity, in which places they can take a shortcut, accelerate, and so on. And the seal needs to get to the shore, not to the shallow water, because it will be dangerous even there. Orcas often literally come ashore and eat seals at the water's edge, a couple of feet from the dry sand. It's creepy. But what's even creepier is that orcas often play with their prey. When they've caught one, killer whales might not eat it right away. First, they bully the seal, for example, throwing it with all their might. With all its might, an orca can throw a seal out of the water 82 feet into the air. Imagine how powerful they are. Orcas can also slap seals with their tails, smash their prey on the water, throw it to each other, or eat it right in front of the prey's congeners. This happens when orcas hunt near the shore. These creatures are real psychos and maniacs. Sometimes they don't even kill their prey, but only scare them very much. For example, they can make a seal climb onto a human boat or quickly jump ashore. This is how orcas demonstrate their complete dominance. And sometimes orcas can finish their prey but not eat it. Scientists have observed this strange phenomenon many times. For example, they've found bodies of animals with traces of orca teeth near the shore. Or they've seen orcas scare their prey, kill it, and just swim away about their business. It's not entirely clear why this happens, but there are several versions. According to the first, in this way orcas simply kill time or train, honing their already great hunting skills. Or, in this way, they can show their young how to hunt properly. According to the second version, orcas are simply extremely cruel by nature, and in this way they demonstrate their sadistic tendencies. After hearing this, many of you will be afraid of orcas, but just know that you should not jump to any conclusions. Why not? You'll find it out later. But for now, I'll share a couple of interesting facts about these black and white killers with you. Metabolism and diet. Let's talk a little bit more about hunting and diet. Orcas have a very fast metabolic rate, and in many ways, it's this trait that has made them killers. They simply have to eat regularly and a lot, or they'll die. How much? An orca needs 220 to 330 pounds of food a day. Orcas are lucky that they know how to fight hunger. They're very strong and can finish off any ocean inhabitant at all. In this, they're helped not only by tactics and developed hunting skills, but also by the incredible bite force. Scientists believe that it reaches 84,000 newtons. That's about 4 times the bite force of the great white shark. Of all the sea creatures in history, only Mosasaurus and megalodons have bitten harder. Did you know that orcas molt? Yeah, just like snakes, but they do it differently. Over time, their skin turns yellow, a kind of bloom appears. It's caused by special algae. It's a sure sign that they need to change their outfits. For this purpose, orcas migrate to warm waters where they renew their skin. They do it quickly for about a month and soon return with bright black and white skin. By the way, orca spots are unique to each individual, just like stripes in zebras, dots on the nose in cats, or fingerprints in us. This allows scientists to identify them individually. Relationship with humans. Orcas kill all the animals in the ocean, eat a ton of food in a week or so, hurry up to molt so they can get back to their native waters and continue to terrorize everyone. What about us? What will the orcas do to us? Surprisingly, it's not all unambiguous here, as in the case of their prey. For example, if people are on a boat, orcas may chase them. They can either just follow the boat or the ship and scare the people, or they can even attack the vessel. Sometimes they cause damage, and sometimes they even sink boats. And when the human is overboard, the orca will just swim with them. It won't eat them. It'll just play with them, and in a good way, not as its prey. Surprisingly, orcas can finish off a shark, a whale, a seal, but not a human. They're not dangerous to us. Many divers and swimmers can confirm it. Scientists believe this is because orcas are very intelligent. They understand who we are, they're not afraid of us, and at the same time they're not interested in us as food. Therefore, swimming with orcas is very safe. If something is bad, they'll protect us from a shark and deal with it quickly. But here's the thing. All of this only works in the wild. In captivity, orcas become different. Yes, they do tricks in oceanariums, amaze spectators and get along with trainers, but at any moment they can go crazy. Due to lack of space and adventure, as well as lack of food, orcas can suddenly attack a human. In some cases, it ends with a fright and not a dangerous bite, and in others, it ends with a tragic outcome. That's how they are, these black and white killers. And now, I'll tell you about the most dangerous animals in Africa. What do you think is the most dangerous and aggressive African animal? It would be logical to assume that it would be a fearsome lion, a venomous snake, or a toothy crocodile. But in fact, hippos should be feared more than the others. Statistically, they're the most dangerous and aggressive animals in Africa, killing more people every year than lions or crocodiles. Hippos only seem to be funny and clumsy, but in fact, this is not about them at all. Despite their huge mass reaching 3 to 4 tons and their absurdly fat body, these herbivorous killers move very fast. On land, they can reach up to 19 miles per hour and about 9 miles per hour in the water. So escape or swim away from them is unreal. Hippos are not predatory creatures, so they will not attack people for food. But if the giant doesn't like something, or it seems that the person encroaches on its territory, it will certainly attack and try to finish them off. Hippos have the most powerful ramming blow, which crushes cars, and are the owners of very sharp and long teeth and powerful jaws. So they don't care who to attack, they can beat anyone. Except perhaps elephants. They're simply much larger. As for elephants, they too are not as simple as they seem. Yes, they are herbivorous creatures. Yes, they are quiet enough. But at the same time, they have a dark side. And in this role, the elephant appears to be an extremely dangerous and aggressive animal. The African bush elephant is the largest terrestrial animal on the planet, which can reach 23 feet in length and 13 feet in height, and weigh up to 12 tons. Add to this the sharp tusks and unreal strong trunk, and you'll get a real tank, which all African animals are afraid to mess with. It's hard to call the elephant a reckless animal, but if it gets mad about something, it's better to get out of the way immediately. The elephant can destroy a car in no time, let alone a human being, whom it can trample down in an instant. What's more, the elephant can even deal with such giants of the savannah as the buffalo, the crocodile, or the rhino without much difficulty. In fact, elephants mostly attack other animals, not people. As for humans, according to one version, these giants with trunks attack them out of revenge. If at some point a member of the herd was shot by hunters, then one day one of the elephants that saw it may avenge the locals or tourists for the death of its congener. It's not for nothing that elephants are said to have an excellent memory. Rhino. Africa is home to 2 species of rhinos, black and white. In fact, these names are nominal. Both species are essentially gray. By the way, black rhinos are right now on the verge of extinction, and in West Africa they're already considered extinct. But don't relax. Africa's still full of rhinos, which pose a huge threat. As in the case of elephants and hippos, it's all about mass. Although rhinos are herbivores, they're huge, They're living armored vehicles. Despite their size, rhinos are phenomenal sprinters, capable of speeding 31 to 34 miles per hour. Add to this poor eyesight, a small brain, a bad mood, and a habit of getting angry over nothing, and you'll feel as uncomfortable as possible if a rhino's in front of you. This giant does not like tourists, their cars, and animals of the savannah, and on occasion will not refuse to demonstrate all its power. When wandering in Africa, you should not only look around for elephants, rhinos, and hippos, but also look under your feet, because at any moment a black mamba may appear. It's rightly considered the most aggressive and dangerous snake in Africa. Not only does it have one of the most powerful snake venoms, it's also the fastest snake, capable of speeding up to 7 miles per hour. When attacking, the black mamba tries to inflict several bites. Such attack tactics are extremely dangerous, not only for humans but also for animals. In one attack, the black mamba can finish off several preys at once. Before the advent of antidotes, the bite of this monster was invariably fatal. Fortunately, there is an antidote now, but that's not much consolation. It must be injected immediately. If this isn't done, the probability of death will be 100%. Sharks. Africa is not only hot deserts, bush, and muddy bodies of water, but also the seas and oceans that surround it. Of course, sharks reign there. The most dangerous place in this regard is off the coast of South Africa. It has one of the highest concentrations of predatory sharks on the planet, which regularly attack swimmers, divers, and surfers. In recent years, this area has become known as Shark Alley. The situation in Egypt is not particularly good either. This country is recognized as one of the major resorts in the world, but you don't want to swim in the local waters knowing that there are bloodthirsty sharks. Take, for example, the infamous city of Hurghada. In July this year, in a single day, there were 2 fatal shark attacks in front of shocked tourists. Even African rivers are not safe. Even here you can come across sharks, bull sharks that live in fresh water and freely navigate the rapids of rivers. These aggressive predators hold the river fauna at bay and even attack huge hippos. Lion. 3 dangerous species of big cats can be found in Africa: the cheetah, the leopard, and the lion. Of these, the cheetah is considered less dangerous. Although it's very fast, it's not very large. The leopard is very dangerous, but these cats live alone. Lions pose the greatest danger, because the kings of the jungle live in numerous prides. They also hunt in prides. Of course, the primary targets of lions are other animals, but humans can also fall victim to the dangerous big cat. Mostly the males want humans. A lion often manages to kill only one person in a lifetime, but history knows cases of full-fledged man-eating lions that sent people to Kingdom Come by whole groups. For example, in the 1930s and 1940s, in Tanzania, the whole pride of aggressive and bloodthirsty man-eating lions operated. And during the whole time, they killed at least 1,500 people. Do not underestimate these big cats. You shouldn't even try to get close to them and stroke them. They bite much more painfully and fiercer than your domestic cat. Buffalo. Even though the African buffalo is another herbivore in this episode, it should not be underestimated. This is not a harmless domestic bull, but a real killer. It's not for nothing that the locals call it the Black Death. It regularly attacks people and animals, and in general, its appearance and behavior say how angry it is with everyone. Unlike its Asian relative, the African buffalo has never been domesticated. It's all about its unpredictable temperament. Because of it, it can't be a reliable and safe farm animal. These giants with sharp horns are ruthless. Experts call them the most dangerous animals of the African Big Five game, which in addition to buffalo includes the elephant, the rhino, the leopard, and the lion. This is why hunters often try to kill buffaloes, and this is why you should stay away from these African bulls. And finally, a little bonus. Africa's deadliest animal. Actually, not just Africa's, but the whole world's deadliest animal. Surprisingly, it's not a huge hippo. an angry crocodile, or even a toothy shark, but a tiny mosquito. More precisely, the malarial mosquito. It cannot be called an aggressive creature, but its lethality is beyond belief. According to the World Health Organization statistics, every year there are over 200 million cases of malaria in the world, and more than 500,000 people die from this disease. Africa accounts for over 95% of all cases, which makes malarial mosquitoes the most vicious killers of the continent. The good news is that scientists are working on a vaccine for malaria, and the disease could disappear for good in the foreseeable future. And now I'll tell you about one of the most dangerous crocodiles in the world. Another interesting fact about saltwater crocodiles is their body structure. They have a relatively wide and massive torso, due to which they were formerly called alligators. As it turned out later, scientists were wrong because these creatures are real crocodiles. By the way, do you know the difference between alligators and crocodiles? What they have in common is the crocodilians order, to which they belong, but they have a different appearance, jaws, as well as range and habitat. Crocodiles are larger than alligators, and they have a narrower and longer snout. Also, when the crocodile's jaw is closed, a large fourth tooth on the lower jaw is visible. In alligators, the upper jaw closes these teeth. Crocodiles are common in Africa, Asia, America, and Australia. Alligators are found only in America and China. Finally, some crocodiles, like saltwater crocodiles, are adapted to live in saltwater, while alligators live only in freshwater. I suggest that we not stop there and delve more into the world of crocodiles. Keep watching to see the world's smallest, most harmless, rarest, and most unusual crocodile. Dwarf crocodile. Since the main part of the episode was devoted to the largest crocodile in the world, it would be right to tell you about the smallest crocodile. The broad-snouted or dwarf crocodile is a real tiny creature. You can pick it up, and in some footage it looks like it's just a baby of a large crocodile. But no, this is an adult that rarely grows to more than 5 feet in length. This reptile weighs about 44 to 66 pounds. It lives in West Africa. In contrast to the fearless saltwater crocodile, the dwarf crocodile is a rather timid animal. It mostly eats fish, crustaceans, amphibians, snails, and carrion, swallowing a prey whole. It's physically impossible for it to tear it into pieces. For this reason, and because of its size, the dwarf crocodile is not dangerous to humans. Gharial. And this toothy creature is even less dangerous. The gharial from Hindustan is a unique and very interesting animal. First of all, it has very unusual appearance. It has a very narrow and long muzzle, due to which the jaws of the gharial resemble a saw. Secondly, the gharial is very large and only slightly behind the saltwater crocodile. Males can grow up to 20 feet in length. Thirdly, in Nepal and India, the gharial is considered a sacred animal. But the most surprising thing is that the gharial is safe for humans. It can bite in very rare cases. On the contrary, it was the people themselves who always caused these reptiles a lot of trouble. First of all, their leather was valued, from which all sorts of things were made. Asian pharmacists paid a lot of money for various parts of the animal's body, and restaurateurs paid a lot of money for the eggs to make gourmet dishes. As a result, the gharial is now on the verge of extinction. Just like this creature, the Philippine crocodile is considered by many to be the rarest on the planet. Currently, this amazing creature lives exclusively in the Philippines, and the population of the entire species does not exceed 200 individuals. As always, people are to blame, who illegally hunt these reptiles and also destroy their habitat for their own selfish purposes. Most likely, very soon the species will become completely extinct. And lastly, let's take a look at the most unusual crocodile on the planet, a white crocodile. More precisely, a white alligator. These are periodically born in the United States. In addition to the fact that these creatures are unusual, they are extremely rare. It's believed that there are only 12 such alligators in the world. Their unique coloration is a result of leucism, in which only a small part of the animal's skin is colored and the eyes are blue. There are also albino alligators. There are only a few dozen of them in the world. Like white alligators with leucism, albinos live only in zoos and on farms. Despite all their power and considerable size, they simply wouldn't survive in the wild. First, their white color makes them more visible to top predators, and second, their skin is very susceptible to sunburn. That's all, guys. Which crocodile impressed you the most? Let me know in the comments. Thank you for watching, and see you later.